Start the car. Season's now underway for both the Crows and the Power, both with mixed fortunes. One going in reverse, one going forwards. I'm Liam.
I'm Ross.
Right, so Carr, the new era under Carr, same old shit, or is it going to take some time?
I want to start with positives. Let's start with the positive first. Let's talk about your game.
Oh, you want to start with that game?
Yes, because I called you the Mac Andrew Crows if you couldn't get over the line because you're flat track bullies, and I said a lot of stuff last week.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
You were impressed?
I was impressed, yes.
But
I thought the way you played that game. Now, you could talk about Collingwood's injuries. Like, I know you're going to cop there worse than a fool. Anyway, your intent was good.
Mm-hmm.
The way your playing style was great. You had a good 6-goal lead. Like you probably should have held on to that 6-goal lead. In the end, they got a few goals back, which it was junk time anyway.
Do you think, because looking at the other games of teams that played opening round and the first round, I mean, Freo used it as a cop-out, didn't they?
Yeah.
Do you think any of that played into the fading out?
No, because we generally thought that the fact that they played the week before was going to help them. So I think we both said that.
Yeah.
And I thought, being at the MCG, I thought they might get a bit of an umpire assist.
We got a few line calls.
Yeah, you did. And I think the umpires are jumping them off them now. I don't think they get as much as what they used to.
No.
Which is fair. But, yeah, I was suitably impressed with your game.
I think
you did well.
It wasn't a pretty game to watch. Did you watch the
wasn't.
game in its entirety?
I did. Yeah.
So the first half was played the way Collingwood wanted it to be played, around the boundary edge. But I remember sending a message to a friend saying that at some stage, because I reckon we played into it in the sense that we spoke about it at the podcast. I was quite surprised they named 6 players that didn't play in the last trial match, and they were completely underdone, only just returned to the track. So I thought, they were happy to go at that slow pace, and then eventually they'll open it up and then maybe shut it down again.
Mm.
I was quite surprised, though, that it comes straight after half-time that they just became more expansive.
Well, they just went bang.
Yeah. But they still tried to continue on the last quarter, but you can see they were out of legs.
Yeah. And that's where it affected them. I think Collingwood, having played that week before, had a bit more run in the legs, definitely in the last quarter. But you had the game under control. Like, they were never going to overrun you.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you, though. When it mattered, after half-time, and you just went bang, bang. And what were you up? 3 points at half-time, something like that?
It was only 3 points,
And then to be 6 goals up, basically. And it happened quick. It was just in a blink of an eye. It was just all over.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
It was what kind of surprised me was just how much of a difference McAndrew over O'Brien made to that midfield.
Definitely. This new ruck rule has...
It has. Collingwood, they really could have got a hold. And you think back to last year, not the final, but the game that was played late in the season. Remember how that game lived in Collingwood's forward line and they couldn't score? Yep. We couldn't get the ball out of the midfield. Yeah. We were hoping that we were going to get a turnover deep and then just counter-attack. And whatever we get, we get. Yep. They've completely... The ruck rule and McAndrew being in that midfield has made an enormous difference because it didn't add to the scoreline in terms of what they got. It helped with field positioning because I think from stoppages in particular, there wasn't a great deal of scoring done from stoppages. So they weren't clean. But it stopped Collingwood from getting that clean break. Yeah. Very rarely did I see Dacos break from the midfield. And
correct.
In fact, it forced him out on the wing sometimes to get away and sort of get that clean ball to navigate. Which I will say, the commentators, God, we all know, they swallow so much of his star, that I watched that game and he got a lot of ball. He got around about 30-odd disposals. Where he was getting the ball and where the Crows were allowing him to get the ball, it was not had any impact on the game. There was a couple of plays when the game opened up where, he did lace out a couple of passes. And that's, look, you're an elite level player. You should be hitting up those passes anyway. Yeah. But, I mean, come on. I bet somehow he ends up with 2 Brownlow votes on the night.
Look, I thought you'd minimised his effectiveness. You're right. You pushed him to areas where you wanted him to get the ball.
Yes.
And then you didn't allow him to follow up and get that run on.
Yeah.
So, someone stayed close enough to him that they weren't willing to give him the ball after he delivered it.
Yeah.
So there was that effectiveness there. But you've always been very good at that. You've always been. You probably highlighted it. You you were the guys who highlighted it the first time.
Yep.
And you've run with that plan every time you played against.
I don't know if you heard what Nixie said. If you stayed on with the coverage on KO,
No, I didn't.
no. So they had him on, and it says if you're going to look for it, it's not his press match conference. It was what he did with the hosts, KO,
Broadcaster.
and they asked him about Dacos, and he goes. One of the things he said was, "Look, boys, let's stop thinking that we can shut Dacos down to zero. He's a superstar player, and you've got to swallow that. You've got to swallow the fact he is a superstar player, and he's going to get the ball 20 to 30 times."
You guys like swallowing a lot.
Oh, look, it's the theme for the night, swallowing. And it's about where he's getting the ball. And that's exactly what happened as it played out. So, look, kudos to Nixie, because I thought he explained that well, because they rolled in, I think they asked him about, Bond, what he did against GWS earlier in the day and that sort of thing, and how do you combat that, because Bond ended up with, nearly 40 and...
Nearly 40,
3 goals. But it was the work he did early in the game that killed.
Which is why, and I've said this, and I said it last year, and I said it the year before, he's still number one for me, Bond.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody's jumped on the Dacos bandwagon, but he does more
impact
for the Bulldogs. He has more impact for the Bulldogs. He affects that team more than Dacos.
Okay, what I will say in regards to that, before we go back to the Crows, is, I agree. There's moments in the game where... particularly on the weekend, Dacos had moments where he could have laced out a couple of boys.
Yeah.
He took, he's running through the middle of the ground and he's torping from the middle of the ground. What are you doing? Yeah. That was a critical moment of the game. And I can't think why you would go, let's just get this in deep and just...
Don't know.
There was no one there for it as well. Yeah. So, there's critical moments where Bond would probably take that on his back and go... right, I'm going to run this in. I'm going to draw people. Yeah. If I have to hit up a pass, I will. Or maybe he'll take the shot from 50. He did that so many times last year in critical moments and won games.
And he'll go everywhere.
He will.
He'll float.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he's that size.
Yeah.
And he can be effective. And his best work might be through the midfield, but his effectiveness down back and forward is just amazing. So that's why he's still number one for me. Yeah. Because he can play and he can be that interceptor in the back line. He can be that big mark in the forward line. Yep. Dacos can't. He's a runner who delivers the ball. That's it. If you need a big to go back, he's not your man, Dacos. You just can't do it. He's not as versatile as Bont is, and he's not as clean as Bont is too. Yep. Because he's not that selfish. You just touched on it. Yeah. He tries to go the 70-metre torp to someone who's not even there.
No, and there's times, and you would have saw it as well, where he calls for the ball in detrimental positions.
That's right. Yeah.
And it allows the Crows or any opponent to set up behind the ball. Yeah. You'll have a player in the middle of the ground, and they'll go for a 45-degree kick, or maybe it's a little bit backwards, so that they can get him. And there was times where the Crows were happy for that to happen.
And what does that remind you of? Go back to a player that they might have got from Brisbane after he played 1 year in Brisbane and then he went to Collingwood. Yeah. It's exactly what they used to do with Buckley. If Buckley demanded the ball, it didn't matter to the detriment or to the advantage of the team, they would always pass it to Buckley. And he would get 30-plus possessions, but the effectiveness wasn't.
When you ask me that, and we'll touch on this after, the thing that sprung to mind is the 36ers and Bryce Cotton. Get the ball to Bryce Cotton.
Yeah.
At all costs.
Get the ball to Bryce Cotton.
So before we close off on the Crows, I just want to give a couple of shout-outs because there was a couple of freakish performances. Did you see Wayne Miller's stats?
I did. I saw that.
That was remarkable. Yeah. I can't remember too many players that have gone above 30 disposals and... 7 score involvements? Yeah. And
9 score involvements?
90% efficiency. That is ridiculous.
Port Adelaide product. Port Adelaide Magpie.
No, he was not.
Wayne Miller?
He was a Centrals boy. No. Get your hand off it.
He was a Port prospect.
Oh, no, not that Millerer. You're thinking of a different Millerer. No, there was a Millerer kicking around that time, but wrong Millerer.
He was in our academy, but back then, because he wasn't a, whatever it is, B, C, D, F, G.
Yeah, but he was playing out at
open
Centrals.
He was open to anybody. Anyway.
If you want to bump into him, he's down all the time at Elizabeth City Centre at Bundy Scissorhands. So. No, he is. He still gets his haircut there. No, he does. Although... on the weekend, he hasn't had his haircut.
He's going to Just Cuts.
Just Cuts.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the
new Just Cuts opening up at Hollywood Plaza, by the way.
Nice. Hollywood Plaza, fantastic.
Shout out to Just Cuts.
Just Cuts.
Hey, look, if we can get some sponsorship on the show. Forget about our next contract.
Let's get to the my game.
Oh, hang on,
Okay.
one more.
Go on.
Can't let this one go.
Yep.
My illegitimate son.
Oh,
You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do know who you're talking about.
Some people confuse it with my lover,
Yeah.
Riley Thilthorpe.
Tilthorpe, yes.
Did you see him in the middle of the ground?
I did, yes.
There was a couple of times where they put him in the middle of the ground. It was just for a couple of centre bounces, and they came out with the ball with him in the hand.
Yeah.
And those were both critical times because I thought Collingwood kicked the goal, broke our string, and that could have been a momentum changer for them. And Thilthorpe carried the ball down the centre, kicked it long. We got to go from it.
You know what? Versatility is your best friend. If you can get versatile, then that's what you need to do.
And I've seen arguments in the preseason about how he's key forwards can't do that role.
Well,
that dude covered more ground than anyone in that game. 14.4 Ks.
Geelong did it with what's his name?
Oh, Blitzard.
Blitzard.
Yeah.
So and I think that was the prototype. If you could have got a Blitzard start, then and then Bonk does it. So. Yeah. But Tilthorpe's a different animal altogether. He's probably a good, 15 kilos heavier than both of those blokes. So maybe not Blitzards, but he's definitely 15 kilos, maybe 20 kilos heavier than the Bond. So
easily. And it's difficult when you've got a bloke that's good below his knees. That's really, really good below his knees. Because that's the other thing. You can be good below your knees.
He's good on his knees.
Clean.
Here too. You were telling me he's good on his knees.
No, I told you he's my illegitimate son, not lover.
So let's get to the I know that you cried when you saw the final score on Sunday.
How vocal was I on Facebook? I called this a mile away.
Look,
I was begging everyone to get on the 250 or whatever.
By North Melbourne.
Were paying.
Look, I agree with you because North, all that build up for the whole week, they were under the pump. There was talk about their coach being gone. There was talk about the CEO and the president being gone, the board being thrown out. They were under so much pressure. And to their credit, they came out and they played like that. We came out like we were still a community shield and they were trying to try stuff.
But you know what? There was no excuses for the Kangaroos. And I said this last week. There is absolutely no excuse. So they've had the same coach for the last 4 years, embedding a game plan. You guys are just starting that journey right now. Yeah. The majority of their playing group have been there. You guys are now blooding some youth. So that's what I tipped off of the back of was the connection.
Yeah.
It's going to take time.
Look, it will take time. And I think I've said this 2 or 3 times. It's going to take 6 to 8 weeks.
It could be longer too.
I think because we saw North Melbourne, Essendon, West Coast, Richmond gather round St Kilda, we all thought there was a possibility to be 5-0.
Yeah.
At the worst, 4-1, which you still can be 4-1, I guess. And then we get the tough run where we get Bulldogs, Geelong, Crows, so on and so forth. I think we get 6 of the last top 8 teams from last year. So it's, if they don't get things done by that showdown, then that showdown will go over 100 points the way you guys are going.
I don't think it will. I still think
But time will tell. But I had some really, really, I made some notes because I didn't want to forget anybody. I thought the goods were Whitlock, kicking 2.
You're giving shout-outs for kicking 2.
Yeah, no, because he's a young kid.
Oh, God.
No, hang on. He's a young kid with limited experience. And he did some good things.
All right.
Right? Georgie was good. Durden was okay. I thought Rosie and Butters were ordinary, to be honest with you. And they were our best 2 players, probably.
Shout out to Jason Horn-Francis. He was a good Kangaroo player on the weekend.
Just wait. I'm getting to that. I
couldn't help
really,
myself.
really, really reservations over Lord and Lockie Jones now, mate. Yeah. Lord, I don't know where he's going. He's going to be surpassed by Whitlock soon. And he could find himself playing SANFL for the whole year if he doesn't do something. Now, this is a bloke who's purely living on potential because he's not showing you anything else. He had one good final where he kicked against Brisbane, where he kicks, 6?
Yeah.
And that's it. After that, I know he's been injury prone. I know that. People are going to say, but he's been injured. But those injuries were 18 months ago. Yeah. And he hasn't developed at all, and he struggles. I don't know whether they see something that we're not.
So my thing is, look, we talk about it all the time. Key forwards take time.
They do
and
take
he's
time.
a big boy.
He is a big boy.
That's
but you know what?
6 goals.
Geelong will definitely give you something for him. You'll get a first-round pick. You might even get first-round pick in a play.
They want him, though.
They do
Shannon
want him.
Neal on the weekend.
They do want him.
200-plus centimetres. You can't have 2 of those guys before.
They definitely want him because he's a
local
his
boy.
local boy whose
Yeah.
grandfather played for the club. So,
I get that, but Shannon Neal, I mean, God, I
Look,
don't
I understand that, and maybe he's now been surpassed.
Yeah.
So maybe the time to pull the trigger was 2 years ago and not now.
Yeah.
But still, if someone's going to offer you something for him, I think and especially if Whitlock does come along, it's time to pull the trigger on Ollie Lloyd.
Yeah.
Horn Francis and Radigali should not have played. They both had interrupted pre-seasons. They both went into that game with injuries. You can't tell me that Horn Francis was right. He wasn't. All right. There's no reason in round one to be risking blokes in a 23 round season. There's just no need for it. Round one isn't going to get you into the finals.
Yeah.
But if he's gone for 5 or 6 weeks, then who knows? You might not even. And I'll be honest, I can't see us being 10th. So there's no finals this year. All right. But they have to show something next week. Essendon is the game. They have to show something. If they come out there and show that same lackluster, we're showing up, we're just going to put a team out there. And there was no passion. There was no nothing. That's not what I expected from a Carr team, honestly.
What was up with Butters on the weekend? Is he ready out the door?
I don't know. I got that
wasn't
feeling.
Butters like.
That wasn't Butters like.
No.
That's why I said they were poor, him and Rosie. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they were just all that hype to get to round one, and then they just sort of, sometimes you burn yourself out before the game even
But
starts.
also, look, I'll say it. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. Were they sick during the week? You'll never know.
That's right. You won't. You're true. But I expect a better game the next two, especially the next two, Essendon and West Coast. That's going to tell us a lot about this team. Now, I said in that Community Shield game when they smashed West Coast, it's fool's gold. Okay, West Coast did not have a decent team out there, and they were throwing the players around. And he was looking at what he had. He wasn't caring about a scoreline. Right now, you believe what you will. Everybody was drinking the Kool-Aid and believing that they were better than they were. I didn't see it because, I tell you, these Community Shield games mean nothing. These practice matches mean nothing. Get me to round one and show me that, and that means something. And it was everything that I didn't want to see. Honestly, just everything I didn't want to see. They were poor. There was no passion. There was no fight. You got within 25 points, and then you let them blow. They just blew us away again. Kicked 3 quick ones after you got it down from whatever it was, a 7-goal lead down to a 4-goal lead, and then they just went bang, 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 and got it back to a 7-goal lead. What surprised me was, and you observed it during summer. You went down to some of their trainings, and you hear ear to the ground. What I've been hearing was it was along the lines of what you were hearing, that we're going to see a tough, hard at it Port Adelaide. Exactly.
That was Champion Data rated that game from Port Adelaide. North Melbourne were number 2 on all-time of broken tackles. That's unforgivable.
I have no explanation for not being ready for round one. Simple as that. Absolutely simple as that. And I was going to send you something midweek that had us ranked as the 3rd best first round team in AFL VFL history. Yeah. And you guys were like 16th.
Yeah, we're horrible. Yeah, I know that.
And I was going to send that to you, but I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because that would have made me absolutely egg on the face. But that wasn't a team that was ready for round one. That was a team that was still in pre-season and was going through the motions and still trying to figure themselves out. But it will take time. It will take time to figure this out. Now, he's got to go back and he's got to look seriously at whether Lord, Lockie Jones, whether he should be playing Radigalia and Horn Francis at this point. Because if they're not right, don't play them. Simple as that. You might as well, if you're just going to be playing like that, you might as well chuck other kids out there and just see what you got.
So tell us how your new recruits went. There's surely
I thought
silver lining there.
I think there was some good. Some Weir was good. Durden was good. I thought they were okay. Like, there were patches.
Yeah.
But it's hard in that sort of performance where the whole team fails across the board.
Yeah.
Like, there just wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. Like, I want to see how they play against Essendon. And if they show me something against Essendon, they go out there. I still won't be convinced, by the way, because I don't rate Essendon. I'm sorry. I don't know if you do, but I don't.
I don't, but I think
I don't rate West Coast. And I'm not sure what St Kilda are at the moment. They seem to be trying to figure it out as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether the next 3 games are really going to tell us much, because in all honesty, I think Essendon don't really travel well. West Coast, I don't think, are coming off the bottom. And St Kilda don't travel well. So for me, but I had us beating North Melbourne. So what do I know? I know nothing.
Yeah.
So, I tipped Port would beat North Melbourne, even though I thought that they would come out, they'd be strong, because they had all this to play for. Their coach, their president, the CEO, the board, everything, the club. They've been told by their president that the women's program has surpassed them. That's got to sting.
Yeah.
That has to sting.
But look, I don't know if you heard the same thing, but Clarko has basically said, and this was apparently privately and it's leaked out, that not only should he get a pass for the year that he sat out because of the Hawthorn thing, but he should get a second year pass. So he said his first year shouldn't count. Bullshit. He was still in charge. He was still setting them up in the preseason. He was still making the calls from the sidelines.
I don't know. Look, I think everybody believed they should be further down the track than what
they should.
Shouldn't they?
They should. And I'll tell you what, I don't think that they were that good on the weekend. I just think that
poor.
You guys were just so
we
off.
Were poor. Yeah, we were shocked.
Yeah.
When we got to within 25 points, I thought, okay, here we come. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for them to just build and build and build. They got there, and then when basically North Melbourne just went bang, 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 I just thought...
The other thing that I'd be pissed off as a Port supporter is you've got a lot of NGAs, father-sons coming up. There's no value in you guys finishing down the bottom. You're better off finishing mid-table.
Yeah, mid-table. Yeah, you're right.
Because you're going to get a discount with that.
We will.
So
we will. Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's not really helping
every
you
win
where
matters.
it should.
Yeah, every win matters. Yeah, I agree with you. Look, and they'll pinch one here or there. Look,
they will, because when you've got Rosie, you've got Butters, you've got Francis.
Yeah.
And apparently, look, I'm not a big fan of him, but I'm hearing lots about Drew taking the next step. Yeah. So that's a pretty good core midfield. And then you've got Ware on the outside, and Berry looked good, running
Bergman,
through the middle.
Yeah, Bergman.
He was poor on the weekend. I had him in my multi for 15. Yeah. He couldn't even get to 15.
Yeah, he was another one who was down. We're going to find out, like I say, we're going to find out a lot about him on Sunday when they play Essendon. What do you think of the other games? So let's tick them off. What do you think of Carlton?
Lucky.
Very lucky. Yeah. I agree with you. Very lucky. If Richmond could have had just that little bit more polish.
If Tom Lynch, the blog, had kicked straight.
Yeah. But did you see Bossie's interview afterwards?
No, I didn't.
He basically said, when a guy's not on, he's not on. Why would you put a decent player on? So he was just basically saying, we could tell from the very start he wasn't kicking goals.
God,
and the two, what did he get to? The two he got were virtually straight in front.
Yeah. But that's as big a sledge as you can get from an opposition coach saying,
That's what I thought. I thought, wow, that's a statement to turn around. Because they said, Lynch was hot. He was marking everything. When you put someone on, we went, why? Well, he wasn't on. We could see
he's not well liked amongst, I think, a lot of people.
People hate him. And if you watch the game, he still rubs the elbow in. He still puts the knee in. He still does those little bits afterward. That little bit of niggle, that little bit afterwards, after the marking contest, So he's still the dirtiest player in the game.
He is. And look, I moving to Friday night, I thought Hawks were good. I think that said more about Hawks than Essendon. I still don't think Essendon are as bad as what the Hawks made them look.
No,
so that's why I fear for you guys this week. I think when you've got... Because Scott come out afterwards and went, you know what, we planned for this. They were just too good. You know, and there was nothing more they could have done. That sounds alarm bells. One, the Hawks were really good.
Yeah.
But Essendon aren't in bad shape.
No. Well, that stung them, I think. The loss to GWS the week before the Hawks, that stung the Hawks into... we saw how poor they were, GWS, against the Bulldogs. So, St Kilda, what's your take on St Kilda? Is this going to be a slow burn? Is it going to take time to get the new players in there and learn that? Or are they just kidding themselves?
You know what? I think we'll talk about Brisbane as well, because I think... recruiting-wise, everyone was wrapped with what St Kilda brought in. Everyone was wrapped with Allen and Draper going to Brisbane.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a little bit too much hype attached to... I wouldn't say Oscar Allen's a star player.
No.
He's a good player.
He adds that bit. Yeah.
I wouldn't say De Koning is yet a star player. I wouldn't say...
They did hype him like he was.
Silvani's a star player.
They did hype De Koning like he was.
Silvani also came with big raps. He had one solid year last year for Carlton.
So, the thing with Silvani is he's back and forward. So he's versatile. That's what he gives you. He gives you versatility.
He is, but he's not good at either. Like, he's not...
That's why he goes back and forth, because he was good at either. You'd leave him at whichever end of the ground.
Yeah. So, I think there's been a little bit of fool's gold for St Kilda. Their arrogant president Bassett coming out saying that, the noise from outside because we're recruiting well.
Yeah.
You've recruited nothing. You're 0-2 now. You've given your supporters hope. You've come out and you've spoke arrogantly, and this is what you're producing. So,
and you've paid a fortune to bring these blokes in.
Yeah. But also a fortune for Nazaya Wanganeen-Malera. Now, I don't know what your take is on this, but Ross Lyon's quite happy with his 3 goals.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. If I'm a Saints fan, I'm not happy to be paying $2 million for 3 goals a game. When you get that sort of pay grade, you should be producing 30 to 40 and a couple of goals.
Well, what do you make of him being off the field when they needed him, though?
Yeah, he spends a lot of time on the phone talking to Ross. I wonder if
don't know what's going on.
Some of his pay packet is just to keep Ross company in the box.
Maybe. Is Collingwood in trouble? Or was it just they haven't got enough players on the field?
Look, Collingwood, no. I think once Moore's back and he's apparently back after their bye. Bye's starting this weekend.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So they've got the bye, Collingwood.
Just what
and
we need, buys.
Moore will be back. And it's touch and go whether Howe will be back. Look, they don't have enough to hold backman.
Yeah.
It exposes our mate Billy Frampton too much. And then you've got Isaac Quaynor, who's not well liked amongst Crow circles, playing Toll. He can't play Toll.
Houston's not very liked amongst faithful either.
See, it's interesting the way he was used on the weekend. So he's basically taken all the ball out of that back 50.
That's what he's good at.
It is.
That's his job. That's what he did for us.
His decision-making's not always the best, though.
But if you kick 100 balls and you're getting 90 of those right...
He wasn't getting 90, he was getting
I understand that.
50
but the week before, 60. That's what they went
by.
Like the week before, he was absolutely superb. He was port form.
Yeah. But it is harder to pick out passes when the game was played so slow. So you've got 18 Crows players behind the ball. It's hard to pick holes.
Yeah.
So they'll go, once they get those players back in the back line, they'll play faster. And they are deadly when they move the ball quicker. That forward line needs the ball to move quick because they don't have the tolls to compete.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of fluky players like Elliot DeGoey, which had a bloody quiet game Sunday night. They can kick freakish goals. They can do freakish things. But when the ball's moved in there quicker, that's when they're at their best. So, they'll be okay.
What'd you make it Freo?
I thought you wanted to take on Collingwood, no?
No, Collingwood, I agree with you. Yeah. They lack players. They lack... But I just don't know.
I don't think they're top 4, top 6, if that's what you're asking.
That's the thing. I just don't know because they surprised me against St Kilda, but then now we're seeing what St Kilda really is. So,
look, I think they'll be okay. 6 to 10.
What do you think about Freo? They were hyped. There were a few people predicting Freo to be premiership favourites. So,
I think it's too small sample size, but
of course it's too small. Yeah.
And again, they're playing a team off of.
But they had a big lead.
They did.
They had a big lead, and this is the Freo of old. That they just couldn't hold the lead. They went defensive and got overrun. So this is the same old crap from Freo, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. And again, Geelong got blown away by...
well, that's true too.
And they started the game...
By Sydney.
Gold Coast. It was Gold Coast,
yeah.
And they started the first quarter much of the same vein.
Yeah.
And then they got that bake. So they snapped out of it. So how much of it was Geelong with just that off that made Freo look that good in the first quarter?
Yeah. Were you impressed by the Dogs? Yes or no?
No.
Impressed by Sydney? Yes or no?
No. Look, that's not putting them down. Were you impressed by either of them?
No, because it's about the opponent.
I think they were expected. Yeah,
it's about the opponent. Brisbane were depleted, and
GWS was depleted. But also, I think, look, where Bulldogs got a hold is the right. Tim English was a monster, and it gives their midfield a
look. Their real test is going to come this week. They play you guys, so that's their real test.
Yeah,
I think you'll easily, deal with them. Yeah. I can't see this being a close game at Adelaide. Yeah. When I say close, I reckon there's 4 goals in this. And to me, that's not close.
Yeah.
If you beat them by 4 goals, that's not a close game. Under 2 goals is close.
Yeah. Well, it depends.
4 goals
if it turns into a shootout game,
you won't. You defensively, you look like you're really sound.
But that was because we were helped by Collingwood. They were happy to go slow.
Yeah.
So that made us look like bloody champion defence.
Yeah. No. That becomes a very interesting game. That you guys.
And that's why it's so hard. You hear all these experts come out in the first couple of weeks. We're sitting here going, "What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?"
Yeah.
No one really freaking knows.
Well, that's it. It's only week 1.
Yeah,
you're right.
So we're only going off what you saw,
Yeah.
and which it's what you guys think at home. Like we're just going off of what we saw, and just sort of guessing where it goes.
Yeah.
So who was the biggest winner of the weekend? Would you say?
For me, North Melbourne,
North Melbourne.
because the pressure's off.
Mm.
They can sit back now, and if they can bring that every week, they won't necessarily win every week, but that's a team that could win 8, 9. So I think North Melbourne now gets it. If they'd lost that game, you could see the confidence plummeting. They win that game, they can take that forward now. Now, I'm not sure who they've got the next 2 or 3, but they can now take that forward, and at least they just need to be competitive. They don't need to win. Like I say, if they're coming up against an Adelaide or a Sydney, a Dogs, a Hawks, they just need to stay competitive, and that's it. And people will give them the pass mark if they can stay competitive.
Yeah, of course.
And if they can do that, if they can play like they did on the weekend, they're an 8 to 9 to 10 win team.
Yeah,
possibly.
Look, I didn't say this to set it up and say Adelaide, but I'd have Adelaide. If I had to exclude Adelaide, Melbourne, because of new coach, and I don't think anyone was expecting.
I thought St Kilda were poor, though.
Yeah, they were poor, but you've still got to beat what's out in front of you. And they've had a massive turnover. They've lost Petrarca, Clayton, Oliver. It's an era change. So for them to start off that way, but for the Crows beating a bogey side at the MCG, no one should now say the Crows can't win at the MCG. So that gets that off the back. And it's just it's a mental boost more than anything.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't win flags off the first week, but they can just...
That's it. It gives you confidence.
It takes the pressure off.
That's right.
And they're in for a pretty tough run. They play Bulldogs this week. They then play Geelong in Geelong and then Fremantle at home. So that's not an easy 3 weeks. So they needed to get them in somewhere.
You beat the Bulldogs. You should beat Geelong, and Fremantle at home, you should beat them. So I think you're going to start 4-0.
Jeez, you're a lot more optimistic.
No, because
they're playing Geelong off a bye, so Geelong's going to have a bye.
Dogs don't travel well.
Yep.
Geelong haven't been as sound at home as what they have been in previous years. Yeah. And Freo don't travel well.
But it's more about the Crows and the mental side of things. If they come with, here we go, it's GMHBA Stadium bloody again.
Yeah.
You know it's like when things start to get tough in the match, then they just throw the bundle in.
Yep.
And I've seen that far too much with now this is a different iteration of the Crows, but I've seen it far too much in the past that you just get burned and you go, well, I'm happy to write that one off. And that's wrong thinking for me. I hope the players don't see it that way.
Look, you're going to have ups and downs.
Yeah, you will.
Every team does. Even the best. Even the best teams have a shock loss every year.
Of course.
So what do you make of SA making the Shield final?
Yeah, good result considering they didn't win to get in. Yeah. So it was nice to hear that because I think that game's still pretty much on a knife's edge.
It is pretty much,
So, great to get there because the way the season started with 2 losses and a draw, I thought it wasn't heading that way. Yeah. I thought you had the faith.
I had the faith because I thought they would build into the year.
Yeah.
It's after winning the title, it's always hard to get yourself up for it. Yeah. But I thought the longer the year went, I had faith that they would build into the year and they'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
I was, I won't say not shocked, but I thought they could do it. I definitely thought they could do it. So now it's Melbourne, Victoria at the MCG. That's a different animal altogether, obviously.
Yeah, and that MCG wicket's been difficult.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, look, if they win it or not, who knows? I mean, a draw hands the shield to Victoria anyway, so they're going to have to go out there, be aggressive.
Yeah, and I sincerely hope...
They're going to need a big Travis Head.
He's not going to be there.
He's not going to be there?
No. Alex Carey, mate. The Crows supporting Alex Carey. Look, I sincerely hope that the Vics don't roll out an absolute road because that would be a disgrace. And if that's the case...
If that's the case, then that's the case.
Kick Victoria out of cricket.
Can't do anything about that.
No, but it's bullshit. Imagine winning a title that way.
Of course it is. But you know what? If you can do something that'll help you, then you've got to do something that'll help you. Simple as that. I don't begrudge any side. That's the whole point about hosting it. We see it all the time in cricket, especially.
Why bother doing a grand final if you're going to allow that to happen? Because let's just give the title to the team.
That's it. Whoever finishes top. Yep.
Yeah. And let's face it. Does anyone actually? Who will be watching the final?
If it was here, I might have gone to a day or two.
Yeah. But we're just obsessed in this country with finals, and I think it's our footy clothes.
Definitely.
Yep.
Absolutely. the collapse, the third quarter collapse for the 36ers. It looked really good there.
Yeah.
And then that third quarter rolled around, and
I was telling you, I was at work.
that's as bad as it could get.
Yeah.
So,
And it was at a part of the day. It was a shitty part of the day because they didn't want to clash with the Crows game on. So at work, that's our busy time of the day. So I checked the score one final time, and I think it was the second quarter, and the 36 were up by near 18 points. So I put the phone down with confidence, going, "That's it, grand final." I'm thinking, "This is great. I can't wait."
Yeah.
And then I completely forgot about it until late that night. Get home, scrolling through Facebook, saw the post, the end full-time score, and oh my God.
Had a look, and what did you see?
The box score shows me third quarter, exactly what you said. They just folded 39-20.
Yeah. Poor defensively, poor offensively. They were just, capitulation, absolute capitulation. But we've seen them do this.
Yeah.
We've seen them do it in the first quarter. We've seen them do it in the fourth quarter, where they just collapse.
Now, I don't know what the hell.
Something they need to get out of this system.
It is. But then, I don't know if you heard Mike Wells after the game. Now, I only heard a clip, and someone clipped it because it was such a bizarre thing to say.
Yeah.
He's blaming Bryce Cotton for having too much ball in his hands. Now, hang on a second.
It's your job to get it out of his hands.
It is. And he's made it quite clear this season, offense runs through Bryce. That's it.
Yeah.
We don't have an actual structure. We just give the ball to Bryce and let Bryce.
The golden goose.
No. So is there something going on behind the scenes? Because it just...
Don't know.
Again, one to watch, and we'll bring this up if the 36ers lose this next game, about what DJ said.
They better not.
No. Does Mike Wells lose his job if the 36ers go out?
That's an interesting question. Oh. For me, I don't like him. So, turf him.
Look, he's apparently very highly respected in the NBA still.
Oh, yeah.
So you understand why they brought him in, because it's easy to convince those fringe NBA players to come across.
Yeah.
Hell, if he's not coached, we don't get Bryce Cotton.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But have they had a falling out behind the scenes?
Something's happened.
Remember, Bryce was crying earlier this season, and you've got a bit of disharmony.
DJ.
DJ coming out saying what he said.
Maybe. Yeah.
One to watch, I reckon.
So, just on a sad note, rest in peace, Coley. You're a great coach. You never should have been shown the door, in my opinion. I don't know what you thought about it.
I was a bit young.
But Ken Cole, rest in peace, mate. You're a legend. And every 36er fan loved you that knew you.
Look, I was in nappies when he was coaching and that, but hearing about him in the Invincibles, if you coach a team and to get it to that stage, you're a bloody good coach.
He's a great coach.
It's pretty...
he, of course, liked the whoopee weed a little bit too much and snubbed his nose at the club, and unfortunately that means you get shown the door.
Yeah, and that's right.
That is life. What about the Tillies making the semi-final? Now, we both sat here and I don't know if we were harsh, but we said that they should have taken their chances. What did you make? Did you see any of the game?
No,
I watched the game. So.
I didn't, but I heard about it, and apparently very unconvincing. Is that what you got?
Well, they were lucky.
Yeah, lucky.
I don't know about unconvincing, but they were lucky. North Korea peppered them. Just did not have the polish to finish it. And to their credit, they took their chances. And they were two good goals. In my opinion, they were two good goals. I thought they were, So they were lucky to get away for it. But then I also thought they were unlucky in some of the other games not to have put the ball away and won fairly well. So they got China now. So that's a different team altogether. Now, this is where they definitely have to be defensively. They're going to have to be on their marks.
And China have had the wood over us, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah. And take their chances. So this semi-final becomes very interesting because this will be the make or break of them. Now, they're probably more than likely going to meet Japan in the final should they get past China. And then that's a different level altogether. So if we think China's going to be tough, Japan's going to be tougher.
It's a level up.
Yeah.
And God, I just don't see it ending well. I'm hopeful. You can only be hopeful, but I just think nothing about them has been convincing.
True, but they've still found a way, which sometimes is good. If they take their chances and they can put a score on, they put the ball in the back of the net, they're a puncher's chance. That's all I'll say.
They are. And you want to peak at the back end of the tournament.
That's right.
But are we seeing signs that they're moving towards that? I don't think so.
Well, look, we'll find out this week, won't
Yeah, we'll do.
All right. So let's get out of here.
Yeah, bring us home.
So what happens when the king burps?
What's that?
He issues a royal pardon.
Nice.
Thank you, Lockie. Good night.